Hi, I'm Rachel George and I'm in Los Angeles. And Jill Santibanez is in Nashville. And this is The Girl Boss Next Door.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for watching The Girl Boss Next Door. This is Jill Santibanez, and we have...
Hi, I'm Rachael George.
Hi, I'm Valeria Sweet.
Hi, Valeria.
Today's girl boss is Valeria Sweet. She is the author of The Most Wanted One in the World. How to Be the One to Meet the One. Woo! Yeah, show us the book. I love it.
Thank you guys for having me. This is the book cover.
That's amazing.
Congratulations. It's a beautiful book cover. It's a beautiful book. And you're a beautiful lady. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. This is so awesome. I'm excited about your guys' podcast, video broadcast.
Thank you. And are you in Los Angeles? I know that you travel a lot. I've been watching your Instagram, and you're like in North Carolina, and you're just traveling everywhere.
Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles. I live in downtown, and then my family is in North Carolina, so I visit them as much as I can. So
amazing. So you're back and forth west and east coast. Good for you.
Yeah, a couple of times a year, 3 times a year. Yeah.
And you're also, besides an author, you're actually a filmmaker too. Can we talk about that really fast? You're an actress, you're a filmmaker, besides an awesome author.
Sure, yeah, I'm very multi-passionate. Yeah, so I started from modeling, graduated into acting and writing and producing, directing, and then the book came along a couple of years ago. So kind of like from writing, I decided to journal more and kind of like have a blog. And then from that, I saw that a lot of people resonated with like relationship and love coaching series. So I decided to write a book on how to meet the one. And then I also have a second book called The Book of Soulmates. But yeah, that's for the next time.
Wow. So, okay, so I mean, you've always been a writer as well. Tell us what inspired you to write this particular book, because this is definitely a love book. This is about the soul, about the heart, about finding the one. Tell us your journey about how you came to write all your amazing experiences down and how this has helped other people.
Yeah, it first started as something that I would talk to my sister about because she talked to me about, her dating life. I was already in a relationship for a long time. And so I thought, if maybe I could write a book, I could help more people because not everybody has the advantage of like knowing me personally or asking a question, or not everybody's even like brave enough to ask somebody that they either know or don't know something that they want to know. So I wanted to just kind of put everything out there that I knew, all the dating tips, all of my mishaps, because I'm sure that resonates a lot, when you know that no one's perfect. So like I've been through a lot of like dates and relationship that were not perfect for me. And so I talk actually in my book a lot about how you can know that someone is the one within 2 weeks.
Wow.
So yeah, and it's interesting because like how I formed the book, the first third of it is how to know yourself first. So we talk about all of your, enoughness, how to know that, you're confident enough to like to take the next step. But you don't have to be perfect. You can like, meanwhile be dating and be in a relationship. You can even be in a marriage right now. But then you have to kind of figure out what do you want in your partner? And you have to be all these things as well, because they're going to want, a list of things that they want. So that,
Right. So, I mean,
I love that.
I do too. I love that it's not just about what I want, but it's about what my, future partner wants too. It's not selfish. It's not, okay, I'm going to find somebody, they're going to solve all my problems, but as you just said, it's about being the one. It's even in the title of the book, how to be the one first before you can then meet the one. I really love that kind of awake, that a spiritually charged message about knowing what you want and who you are first.
Yeah, it's interesting because it is in the title. Some people miss it completely, which is fine.
No, I didn't.
But it's interesting because they say, when you write a book or you make something for people, give them what they think that they want immediately. So, people want to meet the one, so that's what the book is about. But you also giving them what they need, and that what they need is like that confidence in knowing that what you need is already inside you. You don't need to go outside of yourself. You don't need to keep outsourcing all the questions and answers. You just have to look inside, sit with yourself, be with yourself, know what you want out of life, out of your partner, what makes you happy, not what makes your mom happy or your family.
Right. So what would you say to somebody who they're not really sure what they're looking for? They're not sure what they want. Maybe they've had a few bad days. I'm thinking of some of my single friends, I have in mind. Perhaps they don't really know what they want because they've not yet met maybe a true version of themselves, or they've only had maybe a few bad dates. How can your book inspire somebody like that, or guide somebody to help them, take the next step?
So some of the things that I talk about is so we do the one exercise where we list like the qualities we want in a person that are not physical attributes, but more like inner qualities. So if you don't yet know what kind of person you want, it has to do with anything you want in general, whether it's a job, whether it's a person, whether it's a house. You start from, a generic, very general idea, and you write down, well, I want them to be responsible. Like what are some of the qualities that you value? And then you can look at things that you've liked in the people that you've dated and focus on the good qualities and write them down. Well, I like that they introduced me to their mom, and like I like their mom. Like it'd be great to like their parents and for them to like me. Or if you're like an animal person and it's really important for you to, for them to be an animal person, you write that down. Must love dogs or whatever. Which is funny because that was one of the things that I wrote down on my list when I was like 15 years old. And my husband is like the biggest dog lover ever.
Oh.
So, you go from the generic and very general, and then you get more specific with each person you meet. And you're like, okay, well, that was cool, but I also want the romantic connection now. And I want like more soulful connection. So you get just more clear with every person that you meet.
Right.
And people need to feel like they kind of have that connection with somebody, but they also need to feel like, they're complete inside before they go out and look for somebody to complete them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you kind of want them, to fill your gaps as well, So, yeah.
We expect so much from one other person. It's almost like that other person's just another human being with, with flaws and with doubts and with insecurities, and we've all come from somewhere to get to where we are. So it's like, you almost kind of can step back and look at other people, when they're going through something and they tell you, their woes or their dating, problems, and you think, well, almost sometimes you could hold up a mirror and say, who are you talking about? Are we talking about this person that's almost like God, that you think that they're capable of just solving all these problems, but they're just flawed like everybody is.
They're just people. Yeah,
they're just people. It's like, hold on one second. This is possibly the love of your life, but this person is also, another soul that needs love as well, that just needs healing as well.
And you can't ask for more from somebody that you're not already giving.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So this is not your average dating guide at all. I feel like this book is definitely for somebody who is a stage where they're more awake, they're more progressed, and they're ready to really work on themselves. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, definitely. And even if they're not, it will definitely, inform them, because even though I speak nicely, I definitely shine light on like things that you should look at. Like a couple of times in the book, I say, decide for yourself. Are you actually looking for the one? Are you just looking for an adventure? Or are you looking to date? Because sometimes people will say, no, I'm ready for marriage, but then they end up dating all these people just for fun. Or, they're not really looking at like themselves and like problems that they might need to solve before and like heal themselves within. And so I always ask people, are you sure you're ready? Are you sure that's what you want? So it's important to know the difference and like have that clarity within yourself. So yeah, I would say that it's good to take responsibility. And whether you're reading, this book as a person who is aware of like, what you're looking for or not yet, I feel like this book walks you through very simply. And I know I've had people read it, from people who are like 15, 16, and they like really enjoyed it. And then I've had people who are like in their 50s read it, and they're like, oh my gosh, like how did you come to knowing this like so early in your life? Because we're all at different stages in our life. Some people are so wise when they're 15, and some people,
Yeah.
are still learning. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what stage of your life it is. And also, I've had a lot of, my friends who've read this book and now they have met people who I'm sure that they're probably going to marry, but I'm not saying that it's because of the book, but as you go through life, you pick up things that you need to learn. And
Of
it
course.
might have been just like one little piece. Maybe they read one sentence that kind of clicked, and then they learned something else, because it's, following kind of like all the interests and following like this little chain reaction of things. So
Yeah, and I was lucky enough to meet TJ on the red carpet of the Nashville Film Festival. He had a show, and I was actually there at the film festival with the show that I produced and acted in. And he wanted to interview me. He was with TMZ, and then he also created a show. So he's like,
oh wow.
yeah, he was there, and he was just like, and that was like a great opening move to talk to me, and I was like, this person's really nice. And then we became friends, and we were friends first before we started dating, and then we realized that our work ethics were similar. And really, it's like, you put yourself in a position where you do what you love, and then somebody that loves kind of the same thing, right, they kind of appear, and you're just like, wow, this is amazing. But I mean, I guess like for me, and what I tell people, just because I was lucky enough to find the one, I say, just do what you love, and then that person will just, be there. But make sure you're friends first. Like, make sure, like we were telling one of our other guests that is finding love, still trying to find love, just make sure that you can have a conversation with this person. Like, you can go to a restaurant and it's totally natural. It's not like you're trying to find something to talk about, like you have nothing in common. Like, what do you tell people? Because I do have another friend actually in Nashville that she's still kind of doing the whole like dating thing, and she can't find somebody. Like, it's just, I think it depends on like if you're shy, which I'm glad that I grew out of, because if you're shy, it's definitely difficult. Like, what do you say for shy people that are trying to get out there and they just don't know like where to look or meet people?
Yeah, I actually have like a little section in my book,
Woo.
like where to meet
Some
the
insight.
one.
There we go.
But especially, I mean, right now it's like, quarantine, so it's harder to meet people. I
sure.
definitely suggest being friends first. I think you're very right on that. But you can meet people through your friends. Just make sure that they're actually like good friends with these people, because I know that I've been hurt by people who are like, oh yeah, this is the coolest guy, and then they're like, yeah, he's cool to dudes, but he's not a good person to girls. And then also online, I think social media has really opened up like the whole world to us. I know I met my husband on Facebook. Not, I mean, I knew of him before that, but like our connector was Facebook. And I know I've met like my other boyfriends on like other social media before that as well. So I think just like, having a conversation, just like you said, like something that connects both of you, and you can see from the social media what they're like, what their friends might be like, what they're into, like how they show up in the world, things that they post. If you're an activist, like if that's really important to you, you can see that, if they're the same. Or like, for example, if you're in entertainment industry, then you can see like, how do they react like to you getting the attention if they're not in the industry. It's like, it's very interesting way of like getting your in before you might even talk to them. And then, you comment, and then you kind of can message them or something. Like, I think that's a good way for people who are shy or introverted, especially during this time.
Right.
And it's, can I just say it's so funny how because we wear masks so much and we don't really know what like people look like,
Isn't
and
that funny?
we just kind of fill in what their face might look like.
Yeah.
They take off their mask and you're like, you do not look like what I thought you looked. A lot of catfishing.
That's funny. I know. My grandma and my cousin that live in California, they saw each other at the grocery store, and my cousin Seth was like, "Grandma," and my grandma was like, "Seth." But they had their masks on. But of course, you know, if it's your family, you like know who it is. You know, they just live like 10 minutes away from each other. But it was just so funny. I'm like, that's cute. That's really cute.
Oh, it's adorable.
Yeah, it's really sweet. Like I know what my grandma looks like. You know, it doesn't she whatever she's wearing, I know what she looks like. Yeah, it's really sweet.
Aww.
So yeah, thank you so much for sharing your insight. I know that people are gonna love this book, especially when they're trying to find love, when they're trying to find their one, right? Because there is one out there for everybody. I totally believe that with my heart because I'm blessed enough to have that, and I know Rachael is too. With Andy, we have some wonderful men in our life, and so are you. I'm so happy that you found the one, and you can share your expertise with others, and that's wonderful that people will actually, you know, listen and take that to heart, because I know that everybody wants to find somebody.
Yeah, it's interesting because I also believe, you know, like you said, that everybody is meant for someone. But I also want to add for people who might not believe in that, because not everybody believes in marriage, or, you know, and you don't have to think of it as marriage, you know, a forever partner, or
Right.
just, you know, your person. Like, you don't have to like be so rigid. I think sometimes it might I guess like spook some people,
Sure.
you know. But yeah, I totally think that there is somebody out there for somebody. And even, you know, for people that are watching who have been in relationships where they thought they had met the one, and they might think, you know, they might feel discouraged maybe, that they might not meet somebody again. You will meet somebody again, and you will meet somebody even better. That's the thing. Like, keep focusing on you, focusing, you know, on what you want, and the right person will appear.
Yeah, which totally goes back to what Jill said. That's exactly what happened to Jill. Yeah,
Oh,
And I wasn't
being
even looking for it. I mean, of
yeah,
course, you know, you put it out there in your mind and in your heart, like, you know, eventually, of course, I want it to happen, but you have to focus on you first, right? Like, you have to put yourself in the position where you're able to receive that love back. Like, you have to be your best self, basically.
fill your cup as much as you can. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
You have to love yourself first, you know, because if you don't love yourself, then people will see that, you know, you're undervaluing yourself. And when you love yourself and you're happy and that's how you show up in the world, you have more love to give. And when you
Yeah,
have
and
more
I
love
think
to give,
Rachel,
you're drawing more people to you.
you
that's
attract
exactly
the
right.
yeah you attract the energy that you put out for sure. Yeah.
I
Exactly.
want to ask how Rachel met Andy. I've never asked you guys that question. How'd you guys meet?
We actually met on vacation.
Really?
Ooh.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it was kind of awkward because my family was there. My family, my grandma, you know, my
Oh,
mom, my brother. I mean, yeah, and then his family were actually there at the same time, which was really strange because he was part of the theater production. And but
wow.
his mom was there too, and his dad was there as well. And it was just it was very strange. Um, it was a little bit embarrassing too, but my grandma doesn't care, and she's like, "Oh, look,
That's
looks like a
sweet.
cute guy."
Oh my goodness.
Um, yeah, but I think, you know, after that kind of vacation ended, I ended up moving down to London anyway because I was pursuing theatre as well. So it was nice to kind of meet somebody who, at that time, you know, was you know, writing and producing and doing their own shows, and, you know, enjoyed the same things that I was doing because I was still in school at the time for theatre. So that was kind of the connection then. But yeah, it was so funny. My grandmother was just, I mean, she just thought the whole thing was so funny. She was so, I mean, she knew how embarrassing she was, but she didn't care.
Oh,
I
was she
know.
like, go meet the guy?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
go
know. I
talk
was
to
like,
him. Go
oh my
talk to
God.
him.
Like, again? Yeah, I know.
That's so
cute.
sweet.
So, Valeria, have you always been like a guru? Have people always just naturally come to you for dating advice? Is that kind of how
Great
I feel
question.
that yeah, I feel like that's who you are. Have you always been that friend?
Like they always tell you their problems. You're like the bartender.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, I mean, ever since I was like 14 years old, people would tell me their, you know, they would share their relationship stuff. And it was before I even was dating. So it was like, I felt like a very wise 14-year-old, probably wiser than I am now. Sometimes you just like know, sometimes there's some things in you that you just know. And so I would give them advice. I would just like give them, encouragement. And yeah, I think I was kind of like a therapist, I guess, for my friends at first. That's how we started.
That's cool.
This
So
book
I
has
know
been
we always yeah,
it's been a long time coming. Your friends are like, yeah, I was waiting for her to write this book.
I know. They're probably wondering if they're in the book too, like as an example. What to do and what not to do. Yeah, I love that. We always ask our guests if they have any insight, especially because you wrote this book, which is an amazing accomplishment. And I know that people are out there that either aspire to write a book or aspire to be a filmmaker or an actress. Are there any tips that you can give people?
Yeah, I think just going for it. One of my favorite quotes is that the time will pass anyway. So, whether you do it now or you do it 5 years from now, if this burning desire is still within you, like you need to act on it. And I think following your interests and hobbies is really, really important because even though it might not, kind of spit you out where you want it sometimes, it will lead to other things. And the body in motion stays in motion, and that like the same thing, goes for your professional life. As long as you're working on something, you'll either meet people or like you'll work with other people and they'll open your eyes on like some other new subject. And you'll just keep following this like chain of events, and you'll end up somewhere interesting. And I just wanted to give an example, I guess. And this is from the relationship stand. Like my husband and I were talking about it the other day, and I was like, you know why I met you, right? I met you because I was really into Sweden, the country, for like
really?
a year and a half. Yeah. I had this like burning desire to go to Sweden. I still haven't been, which I think like was just kind of an excuse for me to meet him.
Right.
Like from the divine or whatever. But so I like really wanted to know everything about Sweden. I like bought dictionaries. I set my Facebook to like Swedish language. I changed my name like Kronprinsessan Valeria, like because they have like a crown princess Victoria, so that was funny.
That was sweet.
And then I had remembered that my husband's like former band, they did a video in Sweden, and then I remembered about him, and
That's
like,
cool.
and then I ended up sending him like a Facebook message. So like a chain reaction of that, and I met him, and now I don't even like Sweden is not that exciting for me, but that was a way. So always follow your interests because like even though in the moment like you might not know why you're so interested in it, it's gonna get you somewhere. So thank you guys, and this is so exciting. I'm so excited about this. I hope you guys have many, many, many episodes.
Thank you. And let's tell everybody where they can find you, where they can connect with you on social media, because I know that you're on Instagram, you have a Facebook page, you're of course on Amazon, but let's talk about it really fast.
Sure. So my Instagram is Valeria Sweet Official. My blog/website where you can also, get my book in different formats. You can get like paperback or you can get ebook or audiobook. It's thesweetpost.com. And then, yeah, if you want to find my book on Amazon, just type in The Most Wanted One in the World or type in Valeria Sweet and it should come up.
That's amazing. Yay. The most wanted one in the world. I love it so much. Thank you so much once again for joining us on the Girl Boss Next Door. And our Girl Boss today was Valeria Sweet. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys so much. So good to see you.
You too. I'm Rachael George.
Jill Santibanez and
Valeria Sweet.
Thank you.